Alrighty then. I can't believe it, gentlemen, but it is time for some wrestling. Hello, everybody, and welcome to GCSN's first episode of Squared Circle Talk. I know you might be saying to yourself, but Nick, where is Wrestling Hour? Where is it? It's gone. It's dead. We are controlling our narrative. Trouble, trouble, trouble. And we are starting a new show today as a part of our new lineup of awesome content for you guys here on the GCSN Sports Network. So, I am your man, Nick Lombardi. To my left is the man himself in a basketball jersey, ready to jump right into the bubble at any moment, Mr. Jake Jollymore. And
that's
below
me. That's a band.
Oh, the band. Okay, so there you go.
All right, who's got the echo going in the background?
I think I took care of it now. I think we're good now.
Beautiful.
There we go. And below me is, of course, the man himself, the master of disaster, the greatest of all time, Mr. Martin Lee. Martin, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Look at this new show, new abilities for Martin to show his face. I love it. We're off to the races. This is wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you might notice that my lighting is a little bit different than usual. That's because even through a massive storm that knocked out all my power, I'm running on a generator, and I still have just enough juice to make sure we did this show. I was not going to miss our first episode of Squared Circle Talk.
If it makes you feel any better, Nick, in the middle of our football show last night, I cut out completely.
There you go.
Power.
But we prevail, Mr. Jollymore, because that is what we at the GCSN do. We always go on. We hope everyone has been enjoying the new content on the site and on the Facebook and social, and we're excited to get this show on the road. As usual, it is our 2 hours of wrestling talk. Usually what we'd end up doing is kind of doing a watch party almost for NXT and AEW, but we're not doing that anymore. We're going to have them on in the background. We want to know what's going on, but it's going to be talking about wrestling straight up all the time here, keeping you guys engaged. And we love everybody on the sides talking, making sure you're here. Guys, we're so excited that you're here. Brandon, what's up, man? Our friends over at Circus Monkey Sports. I had a great time with Gavin the other day. Happy you're here. Luther, everybody. So, gentlemen, we have had some interesting things happen in the wrestling world, and I think that we should just come out and start with Monday Night Raw.
So I am all for that.
Same here.
So let's have this. Martin, I'll start with you. Did you watch all of Monday Night Raw this week?
Yes, I did.
All right. And Jake, did you watch all of Monday Night Raw this week? I assume no.
I actually did.
What? Is that why the storm happened? Is that why the storm happened?
No, I took the time out of my Monday night with my wife, spending great quality time to watch Monday Night Raw.
Oh, my God. Well, so did I, even though I have no quality of time of wife to have. But I also spent my hard-earned time watching Monday Night Raw. And I have to tell you something. I wanted, and you guys know, me, anyone here who's been following our wrestling shows here on the Game Changer Sports Network, I am a WWE mark. I call Jake an AEW stan. It's part of our thing. And I always want WWE to deliver and do well. I gave them every latitude last night or Monday night to give me a good quality show that kept me engaged and excited from start to finish. And man, oh man, did they do the exact opposite. Did they do the exact opposite to the point where I have probably reached my lowest hope level for WWE in a long time, guys. I mean, they started out the show great. I thought personally that the promo between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton was phenomenal. I thought they had some really good words back and forth. I think they're setting up for what's going to be an awesome match. For the first time and since this pandemic started, a tagline for a pay-per-view makes sense. You won't see it coming. It makes sense. Claymore, RKO, we get it. But guys, am I crazy to say that literally everything else on Monday Night Raw underperformed and was underwhelming from start to finish?
No.
Let's start with Martin because I'm gonna rant.
All right, and Jake, I'm gonna get some rants in too. You saw me losing my mind today on our group chat, so we might have to talk about that. And Brandon, I'm not talking about the Fiend and Bliss because that was a great ending to SmackDown last week.
That was Friday night though.
That was Friday night.
We're Friday night.
We're about Monday Night Raw. All right, Martin, I want you to go first. Tell us your thoughts about Monday Night Raw.
All right, so first off, before Raw, there were several things. When they announced this new stable was coming and stuff like that, I was kind of hyped. I was like, okay, I gotta watch Raw. But then you do absolutely nothing. The start of the show was great. MVP versus the Apollo Crews, that was fun to watch. But outside of that, in the Orton versus McIntyre promo, it was awful. First off, what is Raw Underground? I mean, what is that? When Shane McMahon, when I heard that Shane McMahon had an announcement, I was like, okay, there's going to be a tournament or something along those lines. But then you get Raw Underground, which I'm like, okay, maybe he'll not turn me after that. But no, it's just a low-level Fight Club. It's just Fight Club and just nothing. Then you got
Martin. I think this has been the longest thought you've had on this show, and I am all about it right now.
Martin,
keep going. I am.
Then Jake, do not interrupt the man. Do not interrupt the man, Martin. Keep going. I am
letting him know that he is appreciated for his thoughts. It is a good interruption.
Okay, fine, Martin, keep going, good sir.
All right, so outside of that, then you got the faction. What kind of faction was it? Because you had WWE was having a faction. What was that? Because they did not show up. They baited us to think that there was a faction coming, but no, it was just 5 guys causing electrical powers. I mean, what was that? I mean, yeah, MVP last week in Benjamin was great, but was that the faction they were talking about? It's just confusing me, man.
Martin, I completely agree with you. You hit on a lot of points here, and I know Jake is just seething. He is just foaming at the mouth because he wants to just get going.
I'm taking notes.
Good.
I'm taking
But
Nuts.
I want to just make my point first because I know Jake's going to lay into them incredibly hard too. The problem that I had from the start of this Raw was, yeah, I was interested, like you, Martin, to see what this faction was going to be. It's one of the first times I've ever seen WWE advertise something as a faction on their mainstream television show. Never have I ever seen them do that. They've talked about groups, they've talked about collectives, they've talked about, other words they've used. I've never heard them say stable and faction as many times as I heard them on Monday Night Raw. And like you, I'm like, well, you know what? If they're talking about it, it's got to be kind of interesting. They wouldn't just boast about it just to make people look at it and hate it. But I'm like you, confused. You build up this whole show basically to get what were the three things you had to do on this show? You had to introduce me to a new faction. You had to build up the Hurt Business. And you had to make me introduce me to the underground, Raw Underground, and keep me interested in there. That's what the three, in my opinion, big things that they had to and that they wanted to accomplish on this Raw. You introduced me to a stable that you've told me now the name of them. I think they're called the Retribution. That's what they're going with.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Undisputed Era, but that's out the window now.
Yeah, I mean, that's out the window now. I tried to feed into it when they attacked the electrical system. I said, wait a minute, they're shocking the system. Boom. But didn't turn out to be that at all. But we know what the group's name is. We know that they want to cause chaos because WWE is literally spoon-feeding it to us. But we saw them do basically nothing. They messed with the lights, and they threw a fireball at an electrical a transformer. That's it. The Hurt Business starts the show by losing all their titles, and then they go to the Underground, which Jake could tell you I wanted to like. I looked at it and said, you know something? Maybe this is something they can do for people that don't have anything to do. I don't hate it. I thought that Eric looked kind of badass in his fight in the Underground. But by the end of it, when all you have is the Hurt Business going in there and beating up non-wrestlers, just these actors, and throwing them all over the place, it looked so scripted and cringeworthy and awful. So you failed at pretty much everything. Everything that you had to do, you failed at. Your one big shot, they got a boost in ratings. We know they did. We know their demographics went up. But they just had the opportunity and failed miserably, in my opinion. And I still have more to say about it, but I don't want to take up too much of Jake's time. Jake, go right ahead.
All right, I'm going to start with Raw Underground. Actually, let's back up the train. I'm going to start specifically with the first match. You had MVP versus Apollo Crews. It was a good match. It was enjoyable. I liked it. And then MVP loses. Okay, that's fine. It makes sense so far. Given what we know, it made sense.
Right.
We move on in the night. We get to this stupid, the 24/7 title just needs to go. It needs to go. And then Shelton Benjamin loses his title. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that's 0-2 for the Hurt Business. And then they go into Raw Underground, which, by the way, I don't hate Raw Underground. Let me make that very clear. I don't hate the concept. I think get Shane the hell out of it. Get the strippers the hell out of it. That makes no sense.
That's not PG.
No, it's not. And give me something, well, bluntly to put it, raw. Give it to me raw. No production. Don't give me Shane looking all, no. Give me it all grainy. Give me it like it never went through the production truck. You want me to buy into this? There's your chance. And then you have the Hurt Business come take over. So you're telling me because the Hurt Business spent all night losing, I'm supposed to buy them as credible now? What?
And what exactly are they going to do there? I mean, what was the point of them going? They beat up all those guys. They made their point. But now, do they now run Raw Underground or something? I don't understand.
The only thing that could have saved that segment was a certain somebody blowing the door off with his foot. And all of a sudden, you hear Paul Heyman, this is my client, Brock Lesnar, to face Bobby Lashley. In Raw Underground. Give this some goddamn credibility on it right off the top.
Oof. That's hot. I'd pay to see that.
You give me Shane McMahon running like a bitch. Now, why was Shane McMahon even there? That was WWE's basic bait and switch. And it worked on me. I can't be that mad. It worked. I'm like, oh, Shane's coming back. Oh, a brand new concept to Monday Night Raw. Oh, we have a new faction coming. Holy shit, I should watch Raw. Oh my God, I've never been so duped in my life.
Oh, it was a bait and switch. It was a bait and switch like I've never seen before, man.
This is the type of bait and switch that made me stop watching Raw for the last 8 months. Now, I listen to a lot of different podcasts on my normal work day. And a lot of people are calling into podcasts saying, well, they bait and switched us again. And then I'm still going to watch next week. But, like, I'm getting tired of this. How tired of you are you if you keep literally watching every week?
Yeah.
I got that bait and switch after not watching for 8 fucking months.
Well, that's the thing I've always said about it is WWE is never going to change until their pockets start getting lighter, and it affects them there. What you need is a mass number of people. They've shown that they are willing to go super low with the ratings now. They're willing to allow it to go to insane low levels for Monday Night Raw. So that's not what it is. And right now during COVID, they can't have people come. But when they start being allowed to have people come, don't go to the shows. Anyone who's a standard Raw fan right now, stop watching. I always was critical of the fans that would go and they'd hijack shows. And trust me, I've been in those crowds where you want to hijack the show because you spent your hard-earned money. You want to make your voice heard. And in WWE, it's one of the best places as a fan for a live event to get your voice heard. But it doesn't mean anything. It means to them that what they're doing is right because you're getting a reaction. The real reaction that makes change is silence, indifference, not caring, not paying attention, irrelevance. Those are the things that get things to change. And I was offended by that bait and switch on Monday. I mean, first of all, can I just say something right now?
Go ahead.
Why in the world would you tell us the name of the faction and their aim and their goals up front? Would it have been cool if they told us, hey guys, I know we're about to have a triple threat match for the WWE Championship between John Cena, CM Punk, and Ryback, but I just want you guys to know that at some point tonight, a faction's going to show up called The Shield, and they're here to do stuff and bring justice. Would it have been as cool? Would it have been as cool as when the Nexus showed up on Monday Night Raw? They said, oh, that's all the guys who were the former NXT guys, and they're all wearing an N because their group's called Nexus, and they want to get retribution for the fact that they were all let go. Would that have made sense? Of course not. It's complete horse crap. Hello, Heather. Thank you so much for joining. We're so excited you're here.
Heather, you have been here every night with us.
Every night. Every night on every show. I love it, Heather. Been here
every night with us. Oh, we love it.
We love it. But it just doesn't make sense. And the only explanation is they are so desperate for ratings that they were like, we promise you're going to get the chaos that you love with wrestling. And then you don't give it to us. What's the chaos? Guys on a camera, they threw something at a transformer. We don't even know who they are. Can
we back up real quick? Good. And so I have a problem with the way that went down. Mm-hmm. Specifically because the WWE nixed the new Nation of Domination.
Aiden, by the way, very cool picture with you and Kevin Nash. Continue.
No, it is Kevin Nash. I thought I saw Kevin Nash scroll across the bottom of my screen.
You're like, is that? It's either Kevin Nash or his dad really looks like Kevin Nash. So go ahead.
So they nixed the Nation of Domination with they teased it with Mark Henry and Ron Simmons and the Hurt Business. Nixed it because of the current political climate, and we're not going to dive too deep into this. But given the current political climate, is throwing Molotov cocktails really a good idea? Is that really better than a Nation of Domination? That's all I have to say about that.
No, it's not.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, I know that there was a statement that had gone out at one point where they had made the point to say this is not a political statement. This is just a thing.
They had to.
But
they backed themselves into a hole already with this new statement that hasn't really debuted. And the goddamn girl in that stable sounds like Rachel Dratch, and it annoys me. For those of you that don't know, Rachel Dratch was on Saturday Night Live and has one of the most annoying voices in Hollywood.
But the thing that bothers me, Jake, is we've seen them do chaotic takeovers and invasions before that don't look like that. We've seen the Nexus to me is one of the most recent and the best invasions I've ever seen. They came in, we weren't expecting it. These guys who maybe you remembered from NXT, maybe you didn't. That's when NXT was a series. It was a show, a competition-based show. And they just destroyed everything, stripped everything down, beat up random people. Didn't matter who they were. There were a moment when, I remember for me, I was watching and even CM Punk tries to run in and save Cena and they beat him up. I'm like, oh my God, these guys don't care about anybody. They're just destroying everything. You could have done something like that with this group, but you're now setting it up that I don't look at them as intimidating. They look like a bunch of punk kids. And I don't want to get into politics either, Jake, but it's like, is this supposed to be a making fun of Antifa? Is it supposed to be making fun of like a radical group? I don't understand it. And you're really going to do that? WWE, who already walks on the fine line as it is with political correctness, you're going to make a statement like that? Come on, man. I don't know. Martin, are we going off the rails, or do you agree with us that it just did not look right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, it looked cool, but I can see your point there.
It's just so weird. I don't get it, and I don't understand why you would spoil us by telling us the motivations of the people. I want the people to tell us why they're doing something. Because
do we want to take a random guess on who these people are?
Let me just make that point real quick, and then let's do that, because I think it's a good idea. Here's my thing, and this is something we have to understand. What makes wrestling awesome is its chaotic nature, that anything can happen at any time. But when you tell me to expect chaos, it's not chaos. That's the point I just want to make here. It's contrived, it's inorganic, it's manufactured, it's not as exciting. When you tell me to expect chaos is going to happen, it's going to bring a bunch of chaos, they're going to come do some crazy stuff, that ruins the whole experience for me. But I like your idea, Jake. Let's give ideas of who these people can be. I mean, it's weird because the way that they shot it, the one thing that they did right was they really didn't give me any idea of who they could be.
They all look like minor league baseball players or maybe even little league baseball players. First of all, none of them look like they were big, stocky guys. None of them look like they belonged in a wrestling ring, which tells me they probably used extras and none of them actually did belong in a wrestling ring.
I mean, and so now the question now becomes is that the faction, or are they just followers of the faction? Is that what we're talking about here? Because like you said, I looked at it and, I know we've been expecting Dominic Dijakovic to show up at some point. Dominic Dijakovic like can eat 5 of those guys. I mean, and still have some space for dinner. So I just don't see that as any of the people there. Maybe they were just like there to throw us off. I don't know. Martin, do you have any ideas on who maybe these guys can be?
I'm not sure, but one of them I think could be, until I saw the size of them, was Dominic Dijakovic. That was one of my guesses.
Guys, can we please just call him Dijak? Like, he's from my area. Like, he's Donovan Dijak.
Jake, do you have a problem? Is it hard for you to say Dominic Dijakovic?
No, I can say Dijakovic. I just don't want to.
It's a lot of work.
Literally, there's no reason when his name is literally Dijak. Right. They elongated his name for no reason.
By the way,
what WWE does.
Real quick right now, I just want to say something. I know we're not just doing our usual watch party stuff, but the Dark Order got a big win tonight, which they had to do. They beat they beat the Elite with FTR in their match.
Ooh.
Yeah, huge.
That is
Big
huge.
Win. Big win for them. Really good. They needed to get that win. It made sense.
We're gonna get into the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament a little bit later, and I have a rant about that as well.
Oh my God!
There's your teaser for later, guys.
Yeah.
AEW, and also coming up later, we're gonna talk about The Rock purchasing the NFL or NFL. Yeah,
Whoa, let me tell you something. Rock buys the NFL, life would just get wild, man.
The Rock purchasing the XFL. That is also coming up later. Give you guys a little tease.
In the words of Young Frankenstein, it lives! It's alive! Yes! It does not die.
Maybe.
It doesn't.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's get back on track now. So my guess is for this new faction, I'm going to say Dijak.
Mm-hmm.
Aleister Black, given his social media presence at the moment.
I would agree with that as well.
I'm going to say the Viking Raiders. Because what the hell else are you doing with that talented tag team? And then we know there's a girl in there, which is now the curveball. Unless we go with the followers angle and we have a whole other mess on our hands, and that's just not the way to go with this angle at all. But
yeah,
I don't know any NXT and or WWE woman that sounds like Rachel Drac. So I can't even moderately guess. And unless they used Rachel herself for this because she needed money because she's not working due to COVID, I don't know. I'm just super annoyed that that's what stood out the most in that entire thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't even know where to start with who can be in it. I mean, is it all a big swerve and it's just going to be Undisputed Era? But we know it's not.
My problem is they opened it up with a literal reference to shocking the system.
Yeah.
It is literally a sound system that they threw Molotov cocktails at, thus shock the system. You can't screw this up. In our group chat, I said it literally has to be the Undisputed Era given how they built it before we saw that promo. I fully believe if it is not the Undisputed Era after that first initial clip we got, this is just the WWE no matter what dropping the ball.
I don't know. I mean, unless they really got something fun planned for us, I just don't see it happening. By the way, real quick, just an update on I think I'm going to do this for now every show we do. Update on JR's attire for tonight. He is wearing a salmon pink button down. The first 3 buttons popped off. The sleeves rolled up. I love it. I love it. If we can't do a pop of the week, we're going to definitely talk about JR's fashion statement because it's just getting better every week on Dynamite. Anyway. Let's get back on track.
The number one thing that stood out to me during Monday Night Raw, beyond what we've already talked about, and I'm still talking about the bad. We have the good, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. We have the bad, what I'm about to talk about, and we have the ugly, which is everything we've already talked about. So let's talk about the bad. What was the most significant thing that we have not talked about yet that stood out on Monday Night Raw?
Seth Rollins and Dominic?
Nope. That's mediocre at best.
Samoa Joe teasing a return?
No. Because it didn't happen. Nick, did you freeze? Yeah, Nick froze. All right. So, the number one biggest issue that I had, beyond what we've talked about, so number 4 issue. Oh, okay. Nick just completely lost power. So bear with us. Well, I don't know who's controlling our StreamYard anymore, so give me a second. Martin, you want to talk about Montez Ford and his poisoning?
Sure. Yeah, at first I was like, okay, this is scary. And then we got to the back.
Okay, so I'm just making sure I have everything situated here. Okay, so I am now in control of the. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I had to get. So when Nick lost power, he's currently in control of our backstage stuff. So I just had to go get control of backstage so that I can continue the show. And as we go, we're going to bring up this. For me, it's Sasha winning by DQ, Asuka attacking who wasn't even in the match. That is another thing I was going to get to. But let me finish with the Montez Ford point. Montez Ford being poisoned. You have got to be kidding me. Now, don't get me wrong. Montez sold it like a god. That was such a good sell job. And I'm over here thinking, okay, where is this going? Is it a concussion? Is it a injury? Is he going to have a spinal tap? Like, what possibly could it be? And then they give me poisoning. Trying to call me. I'm still live, buddy. So Martin, what did you think about that?
Yeah, at first when I saw what happened, I was like, okay, what just happened? It was kind of scary because I was like, okay, is he okay? Is he fine? I thought it was something serious for a second, but it looked serious. But then you got to the back, and then you realize it was poisoning. I'm like, what is this? Why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense.
It's such a cheap cop out. Poisoning? Now, I do definitely want to dive straight into this because this is beautiful. So you have Sasha Banks in a match against Shayna Baszler. And the problem with the WWE is they don't want anybody to look bad. So what do? In the most laziest fashion ever, Bayley gets attacked by Asuka. And the bell rings. Now, let me do the math real quick. 1 + 2 + 6 + 8 + 9 = 47 + 48 × 32. Okay, so Asuka wasn't in the match. Bayley wasn't in the match. And we got a DQ. How in the world was that a DQ? Martin, make some damn sense for me. How was it a DQ?
I can't tell you because it does not make any damn sense because you have Asuka and Bayley who are both not in the match, and you have Asuka attacking Bayley. What are you doing? I mean, you have Asuka and Bayley who are not in the match, and that's a DQ? I mean, come on.
It was ugly. That may literally be the worst thing I have ever. Okay, I won't say ever. I've seen some really bad things in the WWE. But that was by far. Oh, Heather, we appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow. We have hockey and basketball tomorrow, so be prepared for that. Back to Shayna Baszler. You don't want her to look bad this early. Okay, there's other ways to end this match. You don't have to have two people not in the match get DQ'd. That's not how this works. Oh, wow. I'm yelling so much my voice is going sore already. This is great. We're 33 minutes in, and my voice is already going. I yell a lot. So, Martin, what else stood out on Monday Night Raw?
Them teasing Samoa Joe returning, but nothing happened?
So I don't really have an issue with that so much because there's no point to. Samoa Joe's obviously going to return to the ring. It's going to happen. It's going to be a matter of when, where, how, why. Dean, which are we talking about the Asuka DQ still? And when you flipped? But it seems a whole lot like the WWE doesn't know what to do with everybody on their roster, and they're trying to protect everybody that they use. And when you try to protect everybody, nobody gets over. What do you think about that, Martin?
Yeah, that's where you have a problem. Because you have a roster full of guys who you need to get over, but you only have 3 hours to get everybody over. So it's kind of hard.
DQ pissed me off. Brandon, the whole show really just turned Dean away. And I fully understand that. I Monday Night Raw this week was awful, and coming off the heels of what may have been the best ending to a SmackDown that we could have seen all year. The ending to that SmackDown was well thought out. It was methodical. They took their time with it. They let it build. Alexa was frozen in fear, just like you would see in any horror movie. It was beautiful. Very good writing. And they show us this on Monday. Now, there was one really, really good high spot of Monday Night Raw. And you can't deny anything that Randy Orton touches in 2020 is gold.
I agree.
I'm having this is going to be rough. So Martin, you're coming through right now, about 3 seconds delayed. It's going to be on my end, and I can't refresh because it will leave you on show alone. Oh, this is great.
First, Nick lose power, and now this.
If you want to give it a shot and try to refresh real quick, I'll bring it back in.
Got it.
So Randy Orton is doing absolutely everything correct in 2020, and it is absolutely beautiful. From the storyline writing with Edge to the storyline writing right now, it's great. Let's see if that works. Martin, you there?
I'm right here.
Perfect. We are good to go. Am I showing up? Luther, yes, we got you, buddy. Don't you worry. Everybody's comments show up. We got you all. Randy will beat Drew. I assume you mean Randy will beat Drew. I fully agree. We have Nick coming back right now. His power's back on.
Good.
I gotta, go to Facebook. See, running the backstage stuff is always fun. Mr. Lombardi, get you that invite. I'm just talking because, I don't like silence on our live shows. So, I fully agree that Randy has to win this match at this point. Nick, welcome back!
Welcome back.
I'm here. I know you guys were worried about me.
Of course. So what you missed, we just talked about what we had started talking about, which was the Montez Ford poisoning, and now we've moved into the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre thing. So if you have any thoughts on the Montez Ford poisoning, by all means, let us hear it.
I mean, it was just stupid. I mean, I just think that it was a little, I think it was a little predictable. It was a little surprising that Montez Ford all of a sudden just passed out on the floor. But I kind of figured, I'm like, all right, they probably poisoned him, I guess, even though that's the weirdest poison I've ever seen where, like, you can get hyped up from it, but then you get knocked down again. I don't know. It just looked weird to me. Getting into the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre stuff, again, I stand by the fact that I thought they had a really good promo back and forth. It was very, very important for Drew to do well there because he's a breath of fresh air where everything is 100 miles an hour. He's from the old school and he's slow and everything can breathe. I completely agree with you, Dean. I mean, I think that the promo, first of all, again, it was so important for McIntyre to come out as a credible champion and as a real threat. And that's how he did it. And Drew McIntyre's whole thing of you were handed everything. I had to come back, crawl back to the top. I did what you couldn't do. I beat Brock Lesnar. Here I am. Hear me roar. And if you think I'm giving up this title and just rolling over and playing dead, you're out of your mind. And Randy Orton, to me, at the line of the night, where he goes up there and he goes, I was given everything. I had opportunities because I'm the chosen one. I'm the one who's supposed to be the diamond of this business, and I've proven it. I was then, I am now, and I'm always going to be.
I love the second Randy Orton said, then, now, forever.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Awesome.
Can you get any more heel than admitting, yeah, I've had the silver spoon in this company. Yeah, I've done some shit I shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm still here and you weren't. Can you get any more heel? Can you get any more perfect in your delivery than that?
No, I mean, I think it's such a unique way to also do that type of a story. To say that, yeah, I was handed everything, but not be a chicken shit heel. You're saying, yeah, I was handed everything because I deserve it. Because my body
he definitely deserved to get fired a couple of years back, but that's neither here nor there.
Is what it is. But, you know, again, it's I deserve to be here because look who I am. I'm Randy effing Orton. You are not even in my league, my dude. So do what you do best. You're going to go in there. I'm going to RKO your ass. I'm going to take that belt from you. It's going to be over. I agree with Luther. Randy Orton is just when he is on, he is one of the best heels we've ever seen.
Okay.
When it's just really awesome stuff.
I fully agree. Sorry, me and Nick are messaging backstage together right now, making sure that if the power goes out, we have a plan here. We got hey, welcome to the show, Nick Eubanks from Talk Interference Sports.
Where he at though? There he is though.
Ooh,
hey,
hey, check out those tattoos. Check out those tattoos. Check out those. Check that.
We get it, Jake. You have arm tattoos. God, always.
Hey, every guy that has arm tattoos got to show them off when they can.
Do you have a special meaning behind your tattoos that you lie about, or is there? Or are you honest?
Dude, they're Alice in Wonderland tattoos. Like, no, there's no meaning behind them.
I love the guys. It's like this bow and arrow, man. It's because I'm 1/10 Native American, so you know I have the Apache inside of me. It's like, yeah, okay, brother.
Yeah, no okay, problem. So you're ridiculous. I'm gonna get the cartoon characters I like. Got it.
As I say bow and arrow, by the way, Damian Priest makes his entrance, so clearly I'm on the same wavelength as WWE still, even when I don't want to be. But let's continue with what we were talking about. I didn't mean to derail us there.
So, do you have any final thoughts from NXT, or not NXT, of Monday Night Raw before we move into our next subject?
No, I just think overall, you know, yes, they got a bit of a boost, and I still think there is moderate interest as to who this faction is, because it's one of those things where at this point, you know, you've lasted this long, we're now this invested into it. We spent over half the show talking about it at this point. Let's Jake with his baby tattoos. Man, your girl's just calling you out. She's just shooting shots.
I'm just
right from upstairs.
I mean, we're both upstairs. She's in the other room.
All right. I didn't want to give out the whole, you know, groundwork of your house, but now you told us. But again, build on it. Make it
rookie numbers.
Rookie.
Yeah. So she wants to talk about the fact that she has what, like 14, 15 tattoos. I have 4, but mine are all. If you put all of mine in one spot on the skin and put all of hers in one spot on the skin, mine are probably bigger.
I was gonna say, does she have like a little heart on like the edge here? Is that what it is, or is that what we're talking about? Is it like a Batista with like the sun on his stomach or something like that?
I want you to know she's right behind the door talking shit to me right now. It's great.
Shut up, Jay. Oh, I can hear it. I can hear it yelling. She told
they can hear you.
That's what. And in the words of Luther, that's what she said. All right.
All right.
But back to what I was saying.
Back on track.
Back to what I was saying. They have to. It might have been underwhelming. It might have been disappointing. But you must capitalize on this. Stick to your plan. Maybe we're totally wrong, but stick to it. Give us this big reveal for this group. If they stink, at least you gave us something. Don't try to pull a lateral move. Don't have an alternative plan. Stick to it. You have us at least somewhat interested, even if we feel betrayed a little bit. Just keep going with it. Those are my final thoughts for Raw.
My final thoughts? Actually, I'll get to me after Martin. Martin, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are I hope they don't promote show. My final thoughts are they better make a better show, because because for the past few weeks they haven't. It hasn't been that good.
All right, so here's my final thoughts. And you all ready for this?
Yes.
Y'all ready for this?
I'll see Monday Night Raw in 8 months.
Ah, there he is. You lost them, WWE.
Best friends just beat Santana and Ortiz.
I'm watching it.
Woo.
I'm on NXT right now. I'm going to see a nice triple threat match.
We got Luther giving us a nice update. Thank you. I appreciate that. When I'm in my office, I can't watch TV. I don't have a cable box in here.
I'm sorry. I've never seen this guy Ridge or something like that. From
Ridge
NXT.
Holland?
Yeah. Oh, my God. He is a very, very just juked up boy. He's a big boy.
He is an NXT UK guy.
Oh, my God. I've never – I mean, he is swole. I mean, that is he is just, my God. Wow. Anyway, I'm sorry. He's the definition of boxy. Like
I think Nick just fell in love.
I did. Oh my God. I feel like Vince McMahon. It's whoa. He's a big guy and he can move. Oh, you sign him up.
Oh my God.
So not Martin. Nick, tell me, where do you want to take this conversation next? Do you want to rant about the tag team division, or do you want to rant about the XFL?
I think we need to go to the AEW tag team division first. Before we get
women's
over to the XFL.
tag team.
Women's tag team. Yeah. Well, for once, we're not going to rant on their normal tag team division.
No, we're not.
We're going to talk about a tag team that hasn't even been crowned yet.
It's not any better.
Jake, do us a favor here. Set up what they've been doing and where we're at right now. How about that?
All right. So we have 4 teams announced so far and 4 more coming for this women tag team Purple Cup thing. I don't know. It's on AEW Dark. I'm not actually watching it. I'm just keeping track of it, mainly because I really like the team of Tayanara Conti, and Anna Jay. I love Anna Jay. Yeah, I love Anna Jay. The little bit I've seen in AEW from Anna Jay, and I love Conti from her NXT stint. So putting them together, I feel like that's going to be a fun team. Now, I have issues, though. My number one issue is that Nyla Rose and the ex-Funkadactyl Cameron lost in the first round.
Well, see, my thing was this. When I saw them, they were going to be a team. First of all, I went, "Oh my God, why did you just waste your money and sign Cameron?" I can't imagine she's gotten that much better. But then
was a one-off.
And then when I saw that Conti was signed and she was going to be with Anna Jay and they were going to face them, I said, this sucks. You're going to waste Conti on a match that I thought for sure Nyla Rose is going to win. Because it makes sense. She's a former your former champion. You just gave her all this rub with Vicky Guerrero being her new manager, this new attitude. I'm like, what they're going to do is it's going to be interesting. They'll have it that in spite of Cameron being an idiot, she's able to propel them deep into this tournament. And you have them lose. I mean, forget how it makes Cameron look. Who cares how it makes Cameron look? She's never going to be anything special in wrestling. But Nyla Rose is one of your top women in your company, and you made her get knocked out in the first round?
Now, I didn't watch the actual match, and I'm going to have to assume Cameron and whatever. I don't know what she's going by now. But I'm going to have to assume.
It's Cameron. It's like a Zack Ryder. It's Cameron. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm going to have to assume that Cameron herself took the pin. Because if you had Nyla take that pin, I can't even begin to talk about how bad that would have been.
I mean, listen, good on them for getting Conti. That's a great pickup as far as I'm concerned.
But is it a one-off? That's the question.
I hope not. I hope not, because then again, it's even worse. It's even worse.
It would be a 2-off at this point because we have a second match no matter what. But she heavily teased going to Impact Wrestling. And now she's in AEW. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. This could just be hey, Impact's not ready to debut me. They don't want to sign me to a contract yet. So I'm going to go work over here for now. Why are we keeping Nyla as far away from a tag team as possible? I want to hear this. I want to know why. Because I think with the right partner, it could be very, very good.
at the very least, they could have just had her go a little bit deeper in the tournament. Make it that their team is a threat. Make it that, Cameron's the cheater. She's the powerhouse. Do something like that. Make it that whoever had to beat them, it was a big deal because she's the beast. I just thought it was a little anticlimactic to have Anna Jay and Tara Conti be the ones that beat her.
Now, does this mean Conti is in the Dark Order?
Now that's something.
I just don't see her in the Dark Order.
I didn't see Anna Jay in the Dark Order.
Fair point. But Anna Jay was doing nothing. Conti has a bit of a brand.
That's fair. However, you're going to debut her. Anything can happen with her at this point. And I get this tag team tournament is quote-unquote random draw. We're going to get into that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Random draw.
Allie and Brandy, yes.
We'll get into that in a few minutes here when we talk about that semifinal. Who did they even verse?
Oh, no. What does the tournament look like? I'm going to look it up right now.
So the other 4 teams haven't been announced yet.
Okay.
Tag Team Cup Tournament. Jesus. That's a mouthful.
The Deadly Draw. That's what it was when they picked the colors. It was called the Deadly Draw.
Whoa. Let's back up the train real quick. WWE Hall of Famer Medusa kicked off the tournament and showed the trophy cup that goes to the winning team. Tony Schiavone and Veda Scott handled commentary duties, and Shaul Guerrero was the special guest ring announcer.
Interesting.
So that's super cool. Okay.
That is super
wow. Cool. Okay, so I have the match right here in front of me. So let's dive right into this. Brandy Rhodes and Allie defeated Penelope Ford and Mel. Now, we want to talk about random teams getting thrown together. We have 3 of them. The hell do Mel and Penelope Ford have to do with each other? There's a reason they lost in the first round. Now, I will say, one of the podcasts I listen to, as we all know, is Busted Open.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy Rhodes was on Busted Open today to talk about things such as the AEW heels, this new thing going on. But she also quickly slid in because it was specifically Tommy Dreamer asked, well, if it's at random draw, how did you and Brandy end up teaming today? Or together? To which Brandy's response was, and by the way, Brandy speaking about anything is like pulling teeth. She's really bad on a promo. It's bad. Even on national radio on Sirius XM, she still has no idea what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But she did slide in money talks. So she's covering her ass. She's saying she paid her way into her teammate being Allen.
But that's...
I'll take it. Hey, it's at least an explanation. I'll take it.
It's an explanation, but it doesn't bode well. I mean, listen, if the idea is eventually to make the Nightmare Collective, which they should have done a long time ago, into heels, that's smart. We've already seen Cody Rhodes kind of start to act heelish. It makes sense, and she's always been heelish, Brandy. So
you
it
can't
makes sense.
have Cody Rhodes turn heel.
But Jake, you
can't do it.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Sammy Guevara is about to do it. Wow, he just did it. Wow. Oh, wow.
My statement.
Wow.
No, you saying wow 15 times does not change my statement.
Yeah, it will be hard to change Cody
We
Rhodes.
lost Nick.
Here.
He just fell in love with Sammy. Continue, Martin.
Well, first of all, I've always been in love with Sammy. That's besides the point. But Matt Hardy looks like he's dead inside. But okay, go ahead, Martin.
All right, so first off, Brandy Rhodes and Allie, what was the point of a deadly draw and it being at random when you have Brandy and Allie who are on your team and the most likely you're gonna win. So that tournament's gonna be predictable and now on the Cody. So yeah, I'm with Jake here. We can't turn it's gonna be hard to turn Cody heel because he is the fan favorite. He is the guy in AEW. So turn him heel, I don't know about that.
Don't get me wrong. You can do it.
Oh, no.
It just
Loud and Proud, or whatever the hell their damn name is, they're destroying the best friend's van. That's Trent's mom's van, you sick son of a bitch. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
it's still real to me, damn it.
God, unbelievable.
Poor Trent's mom.
Was Trent's mom in the vehicular device?
No.
Oh, his mom. Oh my God! They're destroying everything. Oh my God! They knocked the hubcap off. Why'd you have to do that? Oh my God!
Nick,
Sorry.
stay on track.
It's a Honda Odyssey. Damn it! All right, continue. Go ahead, Jake.
The Honda Odyssey isn't even a good vehicle.
It's not. It's a reliable vehicle in the top. Whatever the hell that who are the guys that make up their own ratings? The JE Power Associates or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Not the point.
Moving back on. So at least Brandy covered her ass on that. And Cody going heel doesn't make sense because he is. So I recently found out back when coronavirus first started, Cody Rhodes started a group chat on Twitter. He said, hey, if you need to talk to somebody, message this number. Nobody knew what the number was. It could have been the suicide hotline, for crying out loud. I mean, we all know that number by now. It wasn't. It turned out to be a Cody Rhodes number, and he is now in a massive group text with all of these people. Now, I don't know if you can find that tweet anymore. I don't know if you can still do that, but this has been confirmed by 3 different callers into Busted Open Radio, and one on Jim Ross specifically. Somebody came on and said the same thing. So Cody Rhodes is in a group chat with a bunch of fans, and now you have to sell that he's going to turn heel.
Jake, I'm not saying that it's easy to do. All I'm saying is it makes sense eventually to turn Cody Rhodes heel.
No, it doesn't.
Eventually, he has to turn heel. He does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does, Jake.
No,
he does. He eventually needs to be the person that we know that he really is.
He only created AEW to be the John Cena of All Elite Wrestling.
Then that is the perfect setup for a heel turn. He literally made his own company to be the man. Can you get any more pathetic? I'm sorry.
Yes, you could.
Yes, many people can get pathetic.
There's many ways to be more pathetic than that.
There is. But you know what I'm saying, damn it. God. Man. Oh, look at that. We're wrapping up the first hour. Well, thank you guys so much. Oh, wait, it's Wednesday, so we got 2 hours on here, don't we?
So
oh, boy.
Yeah.
You almost got away, Nick. You almost did it.
Oh, I'm tired. Oh, God.
By the way, if you guys have anything you want us to discuss, leave it in the comments. Let us talk about it.
Yes.
Get our opinion on stuff. Now, my beautiful wife, always with the comments, Cody Rhodes is one of Jake's favorites. He won't compromise. No, I look at it from the business point of view, and it does not.
Then the business tells you it makes sense for Cody to turn heel.
The business tells you that if Cody turns heel, you ruin everything about Cody.
You do not ruin everything about Cody. You build on Cody. You don't think that eventually him being the good guy and him just always crying about something is eventually going to lead to more problems for him? When at some point is it just not going to work? When is it just not going to work?
It's Cody Rhodes. It's always going to work. He's a Rhodes.
So you don't think at some point the fans are going to get annoyed with that? Like how someone always keeps winning, and no matter how much the cards are stacked against them, it leads to problems, and maybe, just maybe, eventually they get really resentful and they start booing all your stuff, so then that means the people who you try to make heels against you become faces, and it makes booking really, really awkward. I cannot think of one case study where that's happened before.
Or that's exactly what they want.
But why would you do that? What's the point?
Because it sells tickets.
Did
John Cena sell tickets?
Yes.
Well, I'm watching Zack Ryder's first entrance into AEW.
Technically a second, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, he's got pyro. It only took him 12 years and a new company to get Pyro, but he got it. Listen. I don't think we're gonna reach it. I don't think we're gonna reach a.
These two comments, one after the other. Jake doesn't like change, and then Brandon, if you need to talk to somebody, shoot me a message because this seems pretty deep. this seems really deep, man.
Oh, here comes Cody now.
Nick, we're not doing minute-by-minute recaps on this episode.
No,
get back on track.
Because we're just talking about Cody, and here he is. Oh, he's always so great. Oh, God, I can't stand him. I get it. You're the grandson of a plumber. I get it. You're Dusty Rhodes' son. I get it. They took your dreams, but not your name. But ironically, they did take your name. I'm over it. I get it.
I don't know why you keep saying that. We've talked about this. He still owns his own name. The Rhodes name is still owned by him.
Not when he made the theme song, but that's not the point. The point is, that's not the point. Not when he made the name. What does Arn Anderson have on that little sheet? What does he have?
Playbook.
The playbook of what?
The Golden Corral, to be exact.
Is that what it is? Is it the menu? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's the menu of the Golden Corral.
Oh my
God. It's the menu to a Golden Corral that's right outside Jacksonville. I would believe it.
That's great.
Now, what if Arn Anderson is the one to turn heel?
What if Arn Anderson joins the Dark Order? He's actually Evil Uno. We just never knew until now.
I never once said he was joining the Dark Order.
No, I'm just saying. Let's just go all the way. Let's make it that this whole time he's been Evil Uno. And who are I'm gonna stop watching this now. I don't even know where we went there. We were just yelling at each other about something.
Yeah, that's because that's what we do. We just yell at each other.
Yes, you're completely right, Brandon. Do not Jeff Jarrett make his own company to be a top guy. That is true.
I mean,
Global Force Wrestling,
Impact, TNA. What like?
Jeff Jarrett. But you know what it was though? What was interesting about Jeff Jarrett and TNA was like you hated him so much and you wanted people to beat him though. Like he knew he was the bad guy. He knew he was making himself the top guy, and everyone knew it. So it's different.
Sounds like Triple H.
Right, but Triple H was a similar one. The Reign of Terror was designed for you to hate Triple H.
That's fair.
And then eventually when Batista beat him, you're like, oh my God, finally.
Is that exactly what you did? Just like that?
Yeah, in my 9-year-old voice. Yeah, I'm like, yay! At WrestleMania 21. He beat the king. It's just, he was a 10-time champion, you know.
Oh.
The animal is unleashed. Shaking the ropes. Oh my God.
Is this what you do in your spare time?
That's what I did in my spare time as a 9-year-old child, Jake. I was reliving my childhood.
I'm going to be honest. I still fully believe you might be a 9-year-old child.
I think we should just move on from the subject. It's way too deep. I can't possibly explain to you the scientific ways that you might be correct. Anyway, let's move on to the subject that you were alluding to earlier in the show. And we'll have some time after we talk about this to discuss other matters. We'll have plenty of time to. That is, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being a principal partner in the group that just bought the XFL. So officially, the XFL 3.0 does exist. There is no timelines yet on what exactly they're going to start, if there's going to be football in 2021.
There we go. Okay. So what if $15 million is a very low price?
Very low. If that's all he got, that's all he had to use to pay.
What if they didn't buy the rights to the XFL to reboot it? I know what The Rock said. He's going to say things to make people happy right now.
Boy, was that The Rock's share of the buy, or was that the whole buy?
That was the whole buy. The
whole
buy was $15 million.
That's it?
That's it, yes.
Wow.
It is so it was going conversation was that it was going to take 3 years and $280 million to pay off everything and go in the green. And they just bought it for $15 million.
Wow. That's almost as bad as WCW's sale, which is probably a lot worse. But I mean, it's WCW sale was a lot worse. I mean, they were almost in the single digits of millions. But yeah, I mean that's bad. Wow, for all the equity they had, for all the things that they had, that's terrible. Wow.
So
I mean, good for them.
My thought with specifically how low it was, I don't know if they bought it to rebrand football. The Rock has a lot of other ventures, and as Brandon keeps alluding to every time this is brought up, ballers. What if he bought it for the TV show or to do a movie or something?
It's a lot just for one thing, though. You know,
what if he runs a merch line off of it?
Now, what you could do is what I do see them doing is retaining a few of the teams, let's say. Like something that was cool was the Seattle Battlehawks, right? The St. Louis Battlehawks, excuse me. That was great.
Louis, yep.
They had a good following. They had a captivated crowd. They were a good team. You know, I think there'll be some teams they retain, but I think a lot of teams they're going to get rid of. I'll tell you one they're going to get rid of right off the bat, my New York Guardians. I mean, no one showed up to watch that game. I mean, I went to their first home game. It was like, oh, guys.
Okay, that's not fair.
Come on, man.
So their average attendance was 24,000 people. That's just a massive stadium. That stadium holds 64. So
no, but I mean,
look empty.
It was going to look empty, but I think they, you know, at this point, you'd think WWE's a little bit better at knowing how to space out a crowd. I mean, there were certain points that just looked. At least the bottom half of the bowl would have been nice to have at least a little bit more full. It was a little too empty, but most of the people were buying because they wanted to be on the home team's side when the first touchdown came, and it did. It was cool.
Do you know who purchased all the names involved and who purchased the XFL? Obviously, we have The Rock.
I know. I don't know the other company. I know it's Red something or it's something with a bird.
Something.
Yeah.
Red something entertainment or something like that.
Yeah.
They have ties with the NFL though.
Also, what they could do is turn into spring football.
The very first thing I thought of was we get a bunch of taxi squad. Sorry, not taxi. I'm thinking of my dynasty league right now. A bunch of practice squad players that every team sends to, let's say, the AFC East sends them all to this team. The AFC West sends them all to this team, and that's how they build the teams because there's already that relationship with the NFL through this company. It becomes a spring development league, so to speak.
Well, what was cool about the XFL was the concept that they had as to make sure that the teams always had somebody else ready to step in was very smart. It was the smartest thing about the league. It made it that no matter what happened to any team, you had replacement players ready to go. This could facilitate that for football teams. You could have it that, and you could expand it so that every team, like you said, has their development team that's under their organization. Where they I don't know
about going a full AAA. Because that's really what you're suggesting. Every team has its own AAA team.
But
there's no way to in football. There's no way to substantially make money on a AAA team because
I'm saying having a pool of players you can pick from.
So are you saying something like keep 8 teams, and let's say Jake Dollymore goes and plays for the AFC East affiliate team? Any team in the AFC East can then pick me up?
Maybe. I know less about football than I do physics, Jake. We discussed this the other day.
Fair.
So I don't know anything. But sure, why not? I don't know.
Let's get off the football side of this because this isn't the football show.
No, it's not.
Let's bring this back to the wrestling part of this. Do you know who the third investor in this is?
His ex-wife.
It's his ex-wife, Danny Garcia. The Rock and The Rock's ex-wife went on a $15 million business deal together, and they bought it from Vince McMahon.
It's a badass woman right there. Let me tell you something. Danny
Garcia bashes the media for how much attention The Rock is getting for this. What is happening?
She wanted more attention. Is that what it's all about?
That's what it sounds like. Oh, I'm Danny Garcia. I married The Rock at one point in my life. I wanted more attention in this sale, but The Rock got it all because he's the fucking Rock.
Oh, God.
I don't know what she was expecting.
I don't know what exactly you're expecting either. Obviously, the title, the big thing was going to be about the fact that you were going to get The Rock involved here. Let's see. Brandon says, Jake, I did not think about using the XFL for movies or TV. I mean,
the fact that it was $15 million and the sale went official less than 5 hours before the XFL was supposed to go up for auction, where it would have made a literal shit ton more money than $15 million. Something tells me it's not for football.
But why would they settle on such a low number?
Because it's Vince McMahon, and he's selling it to The Rock. Don't get me wrong. The investors of the
Jake, that's a steep drop, though. You're saying it was going to cost them over $280 million. He did a discount for The Rock for $15 million?
To get it off his hands? Yeah. It was a headache for him. But let me get to my point here. The investors are already coming at Vince McMahon and the sale itself. By the way, the sale doesn't go official until, I believe, 2 days from now, specifically. Yeah, the sale's not official.
Well, how does it all work with Alpha Entertainment? Because obviously Alpha Entertainment is dissolved at this point, right? I mean, it's not a thing anymore.
But the investors of the XFL are already, quote unquote, suing and trying to get a stop on the sale because they feel like they are not going to get their cut of that $15 million. Of course they're not. When you have $280 million going in and only $15 million coming out at the end,
they're probably trying to stop the sale because they know they can make more money in an auction. Why would you sell it to The Rock? That's why I'm confused here. It doesn't seem to make business sense unless the idea is, like you just said, Jake, that this whole thing has caused such a mess for WWE. We now know for fact that the cuts that happened on that Black Wednesday had little to do with WWE's finances and more to do with their finances for the XFL. After we had been promised the XFL's over here, WWE's over here, they're separate, they don't touch each other, it's not like how it was before, they're not entangled. Man, oh man, were we lied to. We know for a fact it wasn't true. Vince McMahon was funneling money from WWE. They had the marketing division of WWE making stuff for the XFL. We know that that's true. So could it just be he said, oh my God, let me just get my name off all this crap. You want to deal with it. You want to deal with the lawsuits. You want to deal with it. Fine. Here, take it for $15 million. I'm out of here. Bye. See you later. It's possible. I guess.
I
Martin,
fully believe. That's
Martin,
what I fully believe.
We've been going off on this. Martin, what do you think? Or do you think, let's pretend that it means football is going to happen. Let's pretend it means we're going to get football with the XFL. What do you think is something that The Rock and his business partners are going to do to make it better or more interesting?
Well, that's interesting because they could do they could because The Rock, because if anybody can promote anything, it's The Rock. He can promote anything. So how to make it more interesting? That's a tough one right there.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with, listen, The Rock is one of those guys, who is able to sell ice to Eskimos, right? I mean, everything the guy touches, he makes money off of. Even his bad movies make insane money. Even his tequila products, his other apparels do awesome. So you're right that a big factor of why they again promoted that The Rock bought this league is because, well, wait a second, if The Rock's behind it, he only likes making money. Maybe he knows what he's doing here. Maybe they're doing something cool there.
What if, and hear me out, once again, let's use me as an example. Let's say Jake Jollymore, coming out of college, I have the potential to be a 7th round pick. I have the potential to maybe go undrafted. What if I choose to go to the XFL right off the top? because The Rock's involved. I grew up idolizing The Rock. I want to help his league succeed. His name holds value that we don't quite understand at this time in this general specific point in the world. We don't know how much football value he holds.
Well, we know, listen, if they're willing to pay some people who weren't going to get paid before Jake, I mean, it just like the XFL, it might be a place that's interesting. You know, it might be a place that's fun for them. Hell, The Rock might just decide, you know what? They had a good game plan. It was just poor execution. So we're going to do it right. I don't know. We'll have to see. Definitely still a lot to talk about here. Guys, we're loving all the engagement on here. Sammy Guevara's back out with the Matt Hardy's blood all over him. So I don't know how that's going to work. Oh, here we go. He's got the cue cards, even though we can hear him talk, but okay. Oh, my goodness gracious. Martin, I really like your mustache. I haven't noticed that, but I really like your mustache, good sir.
Actually, change your plans, Nick. Let's touch on it real quick.
All right, let's do it.
Quick.
Me and Jake were talking in the background there.
Yeah,
so
we were talking in the background real quick about this one. The details of it all we're gonna stay out of. All I'm gonna say is that it's really sad to see what Marty Jannetty has become.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow Marty Jannetty on anything at all on his social, he's a very unstable person. There's a lot of stories, a lot of things that he has said on there. You know, some very, very sad realities of this man's life. And this latest one is something that's blowing up in the media because there is he's made the suggestion, again, we won't get too deep into it, but he's made the suggestion that he's killed someone before and he got away with murder at the age of 13.
I think it was 13, yeah.
13. Yep. So, I mean, I pray to God that this is just Marty being crazy and just saying some wild shit. But if it's not, first of all, if it is even that, that's still crazy. And Marty, God, someone help this guy because, I mean, what a disaster his life has become. But if it's true, I mean, you know, unfortunately, he falls along the subject of wrestling just because his name's Marty Jannetty. Otherwise, we're talking about a guy who was a criminal and did something horrible. And hopefully, if he did do something wrong, you know, he should get counted for it. You know, I see Clinton. You're going more into the case of what happened. You know, I know he claimed
we're not going to do that,
but we're not getting in that. It's just simply not our place to talk about that. We know nothing of the details.
We're going to end this real quick, real easy. The police have opened an investigation on his allegations here, and that's all we're going to say. And we're going to move right past it.
Exactly. I completely agree with Jake there. Let's just roll past this thing right away. Does make you have an appreciation for those guys who have left wrestling and have moderately normal lives. Let me tell you something, because there are a lot of guys who, unfortunately, that's not the case. Removed of Marty, I mean, you see these guys who are constantly going on GoFundMe. Perry Saturn's one of them, constantly going on GoFundMe, trying to get money. I mean, it's a very sad state of affairs for certain wrestlers as they get older, and it's why, you know, it's so important for them to manage their money correctly. Clinton has another topic though that I think we should definitely touch upon.
Oh, absolutely.
Naito and Evil, baby. Now, Naito.
So I've been very open on my, I don't want to call it disdain, but just my lack of interest in the New Japan product. It's not my style. You can't force someone to like something when I'm used to the American way, so to speak, with wrestling. Right. The American way with wrestling.
It's such a hard adjustment, Jake. I remember the first time I started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling to any extent, and Martin, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but it is such a different style and such a different way of wrestling that it is a little jarring at first.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's difficult which is why I'm glad that they have American commentary as well. Which so I was watching the latest tournament. I forgot what it was called. It was the G1. I forget
G1
what it was.
Super Cup, I think, or Super Card, one of the two.
I think
Well,
it was the last tournament they had.
It was the New Japan. It was the New Japan Cup where he made the turn. Yes.
Oh yes, yeah. So I was watching that and I was confused on what's happening because it was all in Japanese. I needed that American commentary, so I got lost a little bit in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, go ahead, Jake. No, Jake, you go ahead.
My issue isn't so much with the commentary because wrestling's wrestling. If you're telling a good story in the ring, then I can follow it. I don't need the commentary behind me or behind that to understand what's going on. Does the commentary help? Absolutely. But that's not what I ride my opinion on New Japan on. The biggest thing about New Japan is just that strong style. When British strong style became a thing, I was super turned off by it too. Whereas I'm into the fast-paced storytelling, fast-paced flips and shit. Jim Cornette hates it wrestling. That's my style. I like the Young Bucks. I like seeing Angelico and Jack Evans, the Motor City Machine Guns. That's my style. I like watching a lot of stuff from Mexico. Whereas a lot of Japan is very stiff.
You are correct, by the way, Luther. Eric Bischoff is back. He is the moderator for tonight's debate between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
I heard last week that was a possibility, and Eric Bischoff might be my favorite personality ever in wrestling. So I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I love Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff was when I started first watching wrestling in 2004, I did not know him as Eric Bischoff, WCW, former owner and stuff like that. I knew him, president, owner, whatever the heck, he ended up being towards the end. I knew him as the general manager for Monday Night Raw. And to me, he set the tone for what a general manager is supposed to be like in professional wrestling for a live show. He was, obviously he was narcissistic and he tried to make things about himself. But at the same time, he liked chaos. He liked making money. He liked having exciting things happening. So he enjoyed doing things that annoyed both heels and faces, which I really, really liked. The thing with New Japan is this, going back to that conversation, the style of the it's two things. It's the style of the wrestling, but the storytelling is also really important too.
They have great storytelling, don't get me wrong.
And that's what, for me, as somebody who is not a crazy watcher of New Japan, the Evil versus Naito storyline is so impactful because they worked together. It was Naito that brought Evil into the mainstream. He was the young lion that he trained and made into Evil, into a person on their main roster, let's say. And after all these years, for Evil to turn on him and join the Bullet Club was so painful for Naito. He was emotionally destroyed by it. And I think that their hardcore matches and the length of time that they spend in their matches is supposed to be them, to the most traditional sense of the word, telling a story in the ring, especially for that feud, because you literally had one night to sell people on that feud. You had literally one night to get people emotionally invested into watching the next thing. Orange Cassidy right now is attaching a clip-on tie to his T-shirt to make sure he is formal. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. So I mean, New Japan's very interesting. I know that they have, obviously Naito and Evil's, feud is continuing. Something very interesting that Clinton brought up is the fact that Jon Moxley is still the IWGP United States champion. So the New Japan USA, the winner of that tournament is going to get to face Jon Moxley. So at some point, either Jon Moxley's going to bring the AEW championship to New Japan Pro Wrestling for a random one-off show, or he's going to lose the belt and then go defend that belt somewhere else.
He's probably going to, whenever coronavirus ends, he's probably going to come in and drop the belt. Because New Japan does not seem like they like vacating titles.
Well, so I'm not saying so much him dropping the United States title. I a fact agree he's going to drop that title to whoever the next challenger is. But will he be carrying the AEW title into Japan? Martin, what do you think?
Something, if it happens before All Out, then yes, I think he will. But after All Out, I don't know. Because I think at All Out, I think he's going to lose the title to MJF.
Well, if we're going all out, I mean, he's definitely. I mean, that's a difficult timeline to keep with it because All Out's relatively soon compared to how soon we think that he would ever go back to Japan to defend this title. So now I didn't know this. See, Clinton is educating me. No, the New Japan USA is there in California. Is in their California dojo. That is true. They did just opened up a California dojo. I forgot about that. So he can. So I mean, he can if he can relatively travel to California. If he's able to do that, he could do it a lot sooner. Then it's a lot different then.
I don't think AEW is letting him work the American dates of New Japan. That's part of the contract, so that's not going to be allowed.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. Either they're going to have to just simply vacate the title, or it's going to have to be in a match in Japan or whatnot. But let's pretend he's able to wrestle for a New Japan show wherever it is. Is it advantageous for AEW to let him keep the belt just so he walks in with that belt? I don't think you need to do that.
I don't know if they'd be down for that because the working relationship hasn't exactly.
Not good.
It's not a thing. And if you're not going to have that working relationship, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that it's not like them with AAA where they had multiple champions. You had the Young Bucks as the tag team champions, and I think you had at one point Kenny Omega as their world champion even. He was wrestling for AEW as their champ.
Yep.
I just don't know if AEW is going to want to do that. Obviously they know that Moxley has a contractual obligation at some point to defend that belt for New Japan, but I just don't. I just
think it has to be in Japan, but per the actual contract.
Right, and I don't think that they would want him to carry that belt. And about the publicity, I mean, anybody who watches New Japan probably knows about AEW at this point, so I don't really think it's a big deal if you have that belt. So
anybody in wrestling that doesn't know about AEW at this point should probably go get checked for. Let's go with concussions on this one. Let's go with C4.
Wow. Oh, nice. Eric Bischoff is having so much fun right now as this mediator.
Like I said, I love Eric Bischoff. I'm going to go back and make sure I watch this show because Eric Bischoff is by far my favorite general manager ever. He's my favorite personality ever. He's Armando Estrada.
Armando Estrada?
I love Armando Estrada.
Armando Alejandro Estrada. Wow. 3 very, very white men just did that. And there is no way that we did a good job. There's no way.
No.
Estrada. I don't know. I can't do it. I remember the first time. It's a funny story. I remember I went to a house show where Umaga was facing John Cena for the WWE Championship, and my uncle, who was not a wrestling fan, took me. But he, I really wanted to go, and my uncle's like, "All right, I'll take you, Nick. Let's go." And we go, and we're watching, and my uncle looks at him and he goes, "Oof." And I go, "What is it, Uncle Eddie?" He goes, "There are just some men that should not wear spandex." he was referencing Umaga. It just made me think of that because I can remember Armando. That was probably the last time I saw him live at a show.
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
No. I was about to go off on AEW right now, but go ahead.
Oh, we got the breaking
So,
news.
Clinton, with another interesting thought here. Jeff Cobb from Ring of Honor and TJP from Impact are both in the USA tournament for New Japan. Now, again, well, at this point, we can say Impact's no longer based in Canada. They're doing everything out of Nashville. But those both aren't AEW. And let me pull up the New Japan American tournament here.
So we got the breaking news.
Oh, what's the breaking news, Martin?
Dexter Lumis is no longer in the North American title ladder match.
Why not?
Why?
Ankle injury.
Ah, that's terrible. Well, guys, some breaking news from our friend Martin here. It seems as though an ankle injury has now sidelined Dexter Lumis. He will not be a part of the North American Championship match. Is that a real injury or is that a work there, Martin?
William Regal just announced it.
Yeah, I don't remember him getting attacked or anything like that. So I don't.
I think it was during the match. I think it was during the match with Thatcher and Bauer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he got injured.
Right. So I do think that it's a real injury and that's going to be a problem. It stinks. Dexter Lumis, obviously one of the high spots right now, one of the most interesting people for NXT.
So I have that New Japan USA Cup tournament in front of me right now.
Okay.
Took me a minute to find it, and here are the names on it: Carl Fredericks, Kenta, Jeff Cobb, Tangaloa, David Finlay, Chase Owens, Brody King, and Tamatonga.
So everybody that's trapped in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Oh, absolutely. That's all it is. They're doing it in California. So it's everybody that's stuck in America that is signed to a New Japan contract at this moment, because Jeff Cobb is actually signed by New Japan still.
Right. And the thing is, with the other companies that we mentioned before, Impact and ROH have had very long-standing working relationships with New Japan. Impact for a long time had a really good relationship with New Japan. Yeah, ROH has done super shows with New Japan. So, I mean, those are very, very different than AEW.
I fully agree. And again, they have to match New Japan style. And you have Kenta as well, who's very clearly New Japan style. All right, so we're down to a little less than a half an hour left of our show tonight, the very first Squared Circle Talk, now that the GCSN Wrestling Hour is officially dead. And it's
can we talk? You know what? Since can we talk about the latest promo drop from EC3, as I referenced it, Trouble before, because they did something very cool. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jake. Have you?
I have not watched Impact yet.
Okay.
So is it on this previous Impact that aired yesterday or the week before? Because I saw the week before.
I believe it's this upcoming. I think it's this week, and he also posted on his social media. So that's where I saw it first.
So not the one I tagged you in.
Not the one you tagged me in. That was the first one. That was episode 1. This
Beautiful.
Is episode 2.
Okay, so there is a second one. Got it.
Yes. So basically in this promo that EC3 did, he again talked about his time that was in TNA, the people who he beat, and how, as he put it, he was hated just for the fact that he existed. He was hated because of the name he had to inherit. He was hated because of how talented he was. But in a way, what's interesting about this is he hates that past self. And what's amazing is right now we know that there are 2 world champions in Impact Wrestling. You obviously have Eddie Edwards, who's the official, legitimate Impact World Champion, and you have Moose, who is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, the self-titled World Champion. He has the old belt, and he touts himself as champion. In every match he has, he's defending the title belt. He just beat Heath on the latest episode of Impact. What's interesting is what they're showing you, obviously, is the first person. We know this from the night he debuted, but why he's going after Moose. And he's going after Moose because he sees that belt as the thing, as his past. He sees that belt as representing everything he was, and he hates that person. The only way he could truly control his narrative is if he destroys his past. And what's amazing about this story, and I give Impact all the credit, this is the most interesting thing for me. I'm so captivated by this, is you have to think about the other side of the coin. What is Moose doing? What is the point of that belt to Moose? It's reclaiming the glory days. It's him reliving the past, him loving in it, reveling in it, saying that that's who he wants to be. So you have such a dichotomy going on with this Impact, with this Impact division, with two guys.
I'm going to be honest.
One guy who wants to destroy the past, and one guy who just wants to live in it and bring it back.
This still has Bully Ray written all over it. Now, I know I laughed in the middle of your little spiel there, but it's because of this.
Oh, I seen you tag things, but not me. I thought we were close, Jake. I meant Jake.
So that caught my attention. I laughed about it.
Well, then. Whoops. All right. Well, I'm going to leave.
Bye, Nick.
Later.
But in all seriousness, I mean, what do we think about that? I mean, I really do think that, personally speaking, I think that the EC3 storyline is just a really, really interesting, thing to follow right now, and where it's going with it.
Martin, you want to? Have you been following Impact at all?
Yeah, a little bit of it. Yeah, I want to get more into it.
It's on Twitch every Tuesday night. So let's dive into Impact a little from what I know based upon what I've heard so far. What is going? What? Why Heath Slater? Why? He had a match against Moose. If he wins the match, he wins a TNA or an Impact Wrestling contract. It's that easy. But no,
he's got kids. Damn it!
It's Heath. Everything has to be challenging for Heath. It's the exact same storyline played out again. I ain't about it. So that's probably one thing I'm not about. Now, this Rich Swann storyline's got me. Hook, line, and sinker. Now you tell me, is it a work? Did he actually have to retire? Now, Tommy Dreamer gave us the medical diagnosis. Like the actual big word that I don't understand, medical diagnosis. In a Slammiversary, apparently Eric Young accidentally actually re-tore his leg.
Ooh, wow.
And apparently the way his legs had to be rebuilt, it got retorn and it can't exactly go back to normal ever again.
But
it sounds.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It sounds like it's a work because of how over the top it is,
and also the fact that he got attacked. I mean, if he's really injured and he can't walk, you're gonna let him get attacked by Eric Young?
Yeah. At first, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is real. But once I saw everything attacked him, I was like, okay, this is a work, and you got me hooked.
Yeah, I just think it just comes across weird. By the way, real quick, Britt Baker's wearing a Michael Jordan Bulls jersey, which I think is just hilarious. Big Swole also in a match, which is a really cool thing to say. But I don't know.
Who's Big Swole facing?
Reba.
Yeah, Rhea,
yeah.
Basically, she's always the one that's next to her in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
So she's just like, hey, you, get in there. And she has
Rebel.
Rebel,
Yes.
She has her megaphone yelling at her, telling her, hey, come on, do it. You got this. Oh, big forearm.
That distracted him big time.
Wow, man, Big Swole is scary. Big Swole is wow. Vicious.
I think Rebel is being underutilized in AEW so far.
I mean, I can buy that. It's amazing how much this women's division has now become quasi-interesting. Also, should be mentioned that the MJF 2020 signs are all over the place.
I love it.
Which is just great.
That's great.
Continue.
I absolutely love it. What am I continuing? That was the end of my thought.
Oh, that was the end of your thought with that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she's just underutilized. She's a phenomenal wrestler that shined in Impact with the Menagerie, and then now she's playing second fiddle to Britt Baker.
Oh, they just announced it. Next week, TNT Championship match. I want you guys to guess. No cheating. Guess who will they be facing? Who will?
Are they on the AEW roster?
Correct, Amundo.
Joey Janela.
Scorpio Sky.
Good job, Martin. Martin, did you cheat? Be honest.
I'm actually watching the show as well.
Ah, so there you go. You weren't allowed to participate. Ah, you sneak. You sneak. So, yes, we got announced that next week Scorpio Sky will take on Cody Rhodes. You have Orange Cassidy taking on Chris Jericho in a $7,000 obligation match.
What does that even mean?
What kind of match is that?
I don't know.
What is a $7,000 obligation match?
I don't quite know. I don't know if it's supposed to be that it was $7,000 to fix his jacket or something, and if he loses, he has to pay Chris Jericho the money. I don't know. But it's also Tag Team Appreciation Night, guys, next week. So we are going to get...
I am very intrigued by that.
It's for Tag Team Appreciation Night, and with that said, hold on, $7,000 obligation match. Hold on. Nope. Okay. We're going to get Tag Team Appreciation Night. Hangman Page taking on the Jurassic Express.
You just say only Hangman Page? Just Hang?
And yeah, it's just Hangman Page because Kenny Omega doesn't exist. And then the Rock and Roll Express and Tony Blanchard and Art Andersons will be around.
Oh, yeah? So it seems like next week's the week we're going to get the Four Horsemen.
That's going to be good. I can't wait to see that.
There's no title match booked for the tag team division?
It is not a title match. It's just a match against Jurassic Express, which is weird. Because I agree with you, if it was a title match, yes. But it's not. The only title
it's obvious Page is going to be in the new Four Horsemen at this point. I think the original plan was for Cody. Then they realized they couldn't turn Cody heel.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay.
No, because if you look at it, they built it perfectly to be Cody.
Of course they did.
And then all of a sudden it fell off and Hangman Page took his place.
God. Oh, something interesting here I want to bring up. Brandon brought this up. What about Shorty G doing King Corbin's dirty work? Now, if you watch SmackDown at all, one of the highlights of the show was the fact that King Corbin now has gotten Shorty G, a.k.a. Chad Gable, to be under his wing. And he actually attacked, my God, bro. Thank you, Matt Riddle. I knew who he was. I just couldn't think of his name. And attacked Matt Riddle. And I was notice how the only thing I can think of, like, oh my God, he long hair, bro. I remember the first real quick side story. I had friends over who we had NXT TakeOver on, and we had some friends over who were non-wrestling fans, and we were like, listen, do you guys mind if we watch this? And they're like, yeah, come on, let's put it on. And the first experience of wrestling they got was just Matt Riddle coming out going, bro. And they're like, what does this guy do? I'm like, are you not watching right now? This is what he does. He's the king of bros, bruh. But anyway, he now has him working for him. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. Give Shorty G something to do. Give some legitimacy.
What name is Shorty G going by now?
Shorty G. He's Chad Gable.
I heard it changed again.
Yes, I think it's still Shorty G, but they need to change that name 100%. They need to change that name And two, at least they're doing something with him.
I can't stand them.
It's a god-awful show or name.
It's a god-awful name. SmackDown was actually kind of interesting last week. And I think they're actually going to have an interesting week coming up, especially this this Friday with what we're going to find out what happened to Braun Strowman and what happened to Alexa Bliss. Because, again, as long as WWE keeps with the trope, as long as they keep with doing what they're supposed to do with the Fiend, where if the Fiend attacks you and beats you, you change. That could be very interesting. Could we get evil little Miss Bliss back? Can we get a Braun Strowman who's back to this being a mindless monster? I don't know.
Kick it back to the beginning. I want them both to kick it back to the beginning. Give me cheerleader NXT.
Oh
Alexa
my God.
Bliss.
She's coming out.
Give me I don't know what Strowman did in NXT, to be honest. If he even did anything in NXT.
No, it was
the
sheep mask Braun. I was there the night he did
give it to me.
He came out.
Give me that.
I remember when it was so funny because I was with two other buddies. I was with my friend Joe and my friend Vince. And my friend Vince is a much bigger fan of knowing who people are than me. And the lights go out because it was Roman and Dean, John Moxley, facing the Wyatt family. All of a sudden the lights go out, come back on. There's this big dude with the black sheep mask, and we're like, who is this guy? And then he does like a standing choke out to Roman and a standing choke out to Dean. And we're like, we're all chanting, who are you? Who are you? And my friend Vincent goes, that's Braun Strowman. That's Braun Strowman. And he's like yelling at the crowd, like, no, you idiots, that's Braun Strowman. Like, don't you know? So, I mean, that would be kind of cool if he goes back to being kind of like just this very stoic, doesn't say anything, sheep mask. Maybe make the sheep mask like you make the back of the sheep mask look like barbed wire, like how it's just been like glued, how it's been brought back to his face, kind of, you know. That'd be great too. Like Nikki Cross is like looking for Alexa Bliss, and she finally finds her, and she's like the cheerleader. What's up?
Oh, I would love it.
Oh, that
like,
great.
what are you doing? You know, like I don't know how Scottish people talk. She's like, what are you doing? And she's like, ah. But I will say this though, her changing dramatically and not being with Nikki is really going to hurt Nikki Cross, because there's one thing that while Nikki Cross has been great in this role as a tag team partner with Alexa Bliss, I do not have confidence in her as a single star.
I fully agree. No, I fully agree.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
So, real quick, we have this.
Clinton, we did talk about Raw Underground.
We spent 45 minutes when we first started this show talking about Monday Night Raw. So after we finish up here in the next 13 minutes, take a few minutes, go listen to that 45 minutes, and let us know what you think about our opinions of Raw Underground.
Yes, please do. And Brandon, it brings up a very interesting point here.
We both clicked it at the same time.
Okay. Me and Jake, smart. We think alike, Jake. We're just so, come on, let's do it.
We know how to run our show.
Do we see Murphy and Seth split? Now, there was a very interesting interaction between Murphy and Seth on Monday Night Raw, if you saw it. It was Murphy kind of like saying, like, dude, like, you're really going to take up this challenge with this kid? Like, he's not even a wrestler. Why get involved with him? And Seth saying, like, no, he wants this. He's going to get this and stuff. And obviously, Murphy's a good follower. He's going to listen. He's going to do what his leader tells him. But you could see Murphy just getting blatantly annoyed at the idea that his leader is focusing on little fish, focusing on someone that doesn't matter. And that just actually should lead to another conversation we're having. Dominic, yes, the kid who Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had a ladder match over for custody of him in 2007, is having a match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Martin, you're shaking your head. I already know Jake's thoughts on this. Martin, what are your thoughts on this match being booked for SummerSlam?
I actually like it because I can see this going This might be good. This might be bad.
Martin said he likes it. I'm out.
Oh, my goodness. Jake's leaving. Martin, you broke Jake. He shut the door, too. Oh, my goodness gracious. But Martin, I want you to keep going. Tell us why you think it's going to be good. I'm interested, seriously.
Because, we get to see what he can do, but Seth Rollins is a really good wrestler, and he can put on good matches, but who knows what's going to be like.
No, so I see what you're saying. You're saying is, look, he's definitely shown he can at least move around the ring. I enjoyed personally what he did with Ray in their match against Brock Lesnar. I thought that was very entertaining.
Yeah, that was good.
And we know that Seth Rollins can wrestle with a broomstick and it still be entertaining. He's that good of a wrestler. But does that fully make up for the fact that you're going in there with a kid who has never wrestled at this level before, and you're putting him on a big pay-per-view as his first big match?
It's not like this is Extreme Rules.
Yeah, that's the problem right there.
I'm thinking that they might make it Extreme Rules. I mean, they've been doing this added trope of him using the kendo stick over and over again, which is his best. I don't know if you guys.
I meant the pay-per-view itself, though.
Right. Exactly. The pay-per-view is not Extreme Rules. That would be more of like a place for him to go to, or a payback or something like that. But for him to be at a SummerSlam, it's a little weird. But I think they're going to make the match a no DQ match. We see him; he's been swinging for the fences, attacking Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. I don't know if you guys saw the welt that he gave Seth Rollins after the first shot he did at his back after Seth was taunting Samoa Joe. By the way, WWE, don't tease me and act like Samoa Joe is good to come back and wrestle. You son of a bitch. Don't you dare do that.
The very first thing I thought of the second Joe stood up is, he's going to be the leader of this new faction. And then he just sits back down.
Because that would have been interesting, because the whole retribution, is it against who is it against? Is it against the machine of WWE? Is it against the people there? Seth Rollins is the Monday Night Messiah. You could call it thing there. But getting back to this match with Ray and with Seth and Dominic, I'm just very, very much concerned that you're putting him in a position to fail, that the match is going to feel slow, and what is really the outcome? You're telling me that there's a chance that Dominic can beat Seth Rollins? Ain't happening. Jake, you rolled your eyes. You walked out of the room practically. You almost quit the show over this. Tell me your thoughts.
Of all things to do, they decide to put Dominic in a very high-profile match right off the top. He's not ready. Nothing you can say can make me believe that he is ready. And what is going on here? I'm playing in the middle of all of this. I'm playing with a StreamYard because I'm learning a certain thing that we will be introducing very, very soon.
Wow.
It's just a matter. Yeah, new thing.
In the words of Shane McMahon in 2016 on SmackDown, new faces, new matchups, new.
No, Nick, I just like getting paid. Let's just make that very clear.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I had to make sure I knew how to do that. I figured it out real quick. Took me 2 seconds. Couldn't get back to the comments, though. All I had to do was press the comment button. It was very easy.
Very easy.
I think putting Dominic in this match this early in his career is a mistake. That's my rant for this. Yeah, that's it.
He's not ready for it. Brandon makes a very interesting comment. He says, does Murphy turn on Seth at SummerSlam, but Dom sides with Seth? That would be very weird. Why would they have a match?
Yeah.
That makes
no sense. We'll call it a double swerve. I don't know.
But I mean,
triple swerve,
so they're going to have a match. He's going to beat the shit out of Dominic, and then Murphy. Now, because I could totally see Murphy during the match if the match starts getting a little out of hand with Seth just beating the crap out of Dominic. Murphy going in there going, dude, just end the match. What are you doing?
He's a kid.
Stop. He's a kid. He's a kid. Stop it. You've already proven that you're better. Just do the curb stomp or just roll him up for a pin. Let's move on. And if Seth just is like, no, I'm going to punish him. I'm going to keep doing it. And it's kind of like he's taunting. Come on, Ray. come save your son, and you know Ray can't show up because he's injured. So then Murphy just can't take it, and he breaks out and attacks Seth. Sure, that can happen, I guess. But that means that it's more likely that Buddy Murphy turns on Seth than Dominic turning on his dad. And that pisses me off because I want that damn betrayal so bad of Dominic on Ray. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a psycho. Maybe I have like deep issues, father issues that I need to work out. Like
I was
Darth
going to
Vader.
say, it sounds like you have a lot of daddy issues.
Maybe it's like a Kylo Ren situation where I'm like just angry and furious at my male relatives.
Nick,
yes,
I want you to know, I've never watched Star Wars.
Oh wow, that's a topic for after the StreamYard where I'm just gonna just throw this microphone through this damn screen and hit you with it because you're out of your mind if you've never watched Star Wars. And that's just.
It's not my fault. It's an overrated franchise.
Oh my god. Oh okay. It's not more overrated than Harry Potter. Put it that.
I've watched 2 Harry Potter movies in my life.
I'm not. That wasn't even targeted towards you. That's just targeted to Harry Potter fans because I think Harry Potter is just.
All right, so I'll agree. Both of those franchises are the 2 most overrated in history.
Incorrect. You're so incorrect about Star Wars, but it's okay. We'll fight about this later.
No.
Jake, we'll fight. We'll fight about this later. We'll fight about this
fine.
later. This is the wrestling show.
Fine.
And we have 5 minutes left. Guys, 5 minutes of frenzy. Any subject you want to talk about, anything. You know what, Jake? Jake, we're pulling it back. Anything they want to talk about wrestling related that you want to talk about. Oh, Luther's already done with you, Jake. He doesn't want to hear you. And Brandon's saying he's only seen the original 3 Star Wars.
Stop
Brandon,
clicking in at the same time as me.
Harry Potter put me to sleep, so boring. Brandon's saying he's only seen the 3 original Star Wars. I have to be very honest with you. That does not surprise me one iota. That Brandon's only seen the 3 original Star Wars and has no interest in seeing the other ones. Come on, guys. Anything you want to talk about? We got 4 minutes left now of the frenzy. Martin, I'll ask you, is there anything that you feel that we missed tonight that you want to talk about? Anything that's happening in wrestling that is exciting you or making you interested to watch it?
So I heard something today. Kurt Angle did an interview, and he said that he wanted John Cena as the last opponent for WrestleMania, but he couldn't get it because he was stuck with Baron Corbin. And Vince said that, hey, if you do it next year, you can have Cena. But then he goes like, no. I'm like, no, give me Cena this year. I'm not doing it next year. He's like, you can't. You're stuck with Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I'm trying to find right now the exact quote that I had pulled up earlier today because it is
real quick, Luther. I'm done with y'all. Don't disrespect Star Wars or Potter.
Both
we got
franchises.
Brandon, why? Because I'm older.
No, I'm not, Brandon. I did not say a word. I was just suggesting.
He just strongly implied it.
His favorite wrestling company's NWA. It does not surprise me that he's only seen the first 3 Star Wars. Come on, Brandon. You know I love you, bud. I'm trying to find this
Luther,
exact.
we love you too, even if you're a Harry Potter and Star Wars fan.
So stupid. Anyway,
Clinton said this 4 times. I'm gonna bring it up. The Good Brother storyline is great.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know what else more to say about it. I don't know it as much as you.
It's a good storyline. In all honesty, it's a great storyline. But I mean, there's just not enough meat on the bones to talk about it yet. It's just basic. They're going back and forth, attacking each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all it is. I mean, eventually they're gonna have to get involved with some stuff, but I don't know. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. I'm trying to find this damn quote that I sent in our group chat earlier today, Jake. Oh, I found it. Okay. This is it. I was trying to find it on the computer, so it looked like I can at least look at the camera, but I'm just going to look at it like this. I don't care. This is exactly what Kurt Angle said. He said, if you want Cena, you got it, but this year you got Baron. I said, Vince, I'm not going next year. I'm done. This is it. And he said, well, you're stuck with this. Now, listen, I've been saying the whole time that when they did that, it better mean they have big plans for Corbin. And so in the moment, I was okay with it because I'm like, okay, it means they're setting up Corbin. They're still protecting his finisher. He's got the biggest heel heat on him right now. This is good. But you did nothing with him. We have gone a full calendar year, more than that. And you've done nothing with Baron Corbin. Nothing. Who gots? You've done nothing. It's an admiration. It's not real. There's nothing there. So you're telling me that because you haven't done a thing with him, knowing all of this, you couldn't give him the match with Cena? It would have been slow. It would have not been Cena versus Angle for the United States Championship at Armageddon. I get that. But just give us the match. I mean, come the hell on, man. I don't know about you guys. It just pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt is retiring, so at least give him the option to pick his last actual match.
Yeah, it's just very weird stuff. Well, Jake, we are coming on the final seconds, and we are now at a full 2 hours of the GCSN Squared Circle Talk program. Guys, we hope you have enjoyed this as much as we have. Next time, make sure you come and bring new topics for us to discuss, new breaking news for us to talk about. As usual, we'll be watching NXT and AEW in the background. Guys, we love you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and make sure, and this is something I learned from our friend at Gavin at Circus Monkey Sports, make sure you set your notifications so that every time we go live, we come right up for you. So you know when we are live. Guys, we have a great lineup of shows coming up for you in the next few days. I know that tomorrow yes, go ahead.
I will be backstage doing all the work for the hockey and the basketball shows.
Yes, so Thursday. Go ahead,
8
Jake.
to
Sorry.
9 and 9 to 10. We
Yes,
have
sir.
hockey first, basketball second. So join us with Shane and Tim for hockey, and then Elizabeth and Hunter for basketball. It's going to be some great talk,
I mean,
guys.
Jake, we got some brand new people coming
People
to live.
you have never seen before
Never
from
seen.
GCSN.
And Jake, I dare say these are some of the most quality people. Some of the most quality people on there, except Tim, he says. That's so mean. But no,
we've seen
some,
Tim. No, we've seen Tim. That's
Oh,
what
we've
I'm
seen
saying.
Tim.
Is we've seen Tim live before.
I thought you were trying to say except Tim, because Tim's not good. But no,
Tim's great. We love Tim.
We love everybody, but you're going to meet Hunter. You're going to meet Elizabeth. You're going to meet Shane. And you might get reintroduced to Tim. Maybe you have never met Tim before. It's going to be good conversations, talking hockey, which are in the middle of their playoffs. Unfortunately for my Rangers, they lost out in the first round. We got the basketball bubble booming right now. They've released again that they have not had any coronavirus positive tests, which means they're just rolling right along. And of course, guys, if you can't make it for Thursday, remember this weekend we have still an action-packed number of shows for you as Talk Interference Sports with our friend Nick Eubanks will be going live Saturday at 8:30 p.m. And of course, on Sunday, you get our boy Gavin for Circus Monkey Sports talking all that good stuff. Well, guys, thank you so much again for joining us here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Game Changer Sports Network. Check out our website, www.gamechangersportsnetwork.com, for all of our latest articles and news stories.
And go like us on Twitter, damn it.
And go like us on Twitter, damn it. We're good at what we do on there. To my left is Mr. Jake Jollymore. Thank you so much, sir. Below me, Martin Lee. Thank you so much, sir, for your help here. Guys, you're the best. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.